We went as thou didst command, through the coppice, noble Odysseus. We found within the forest glades the fair halls, builded of polished stone, in a place with wide prospect. And there was one that fared before a mighty web, and sang a clear song. A goddess she was, or a woman. And they cried aloud and called to her, and straightway she came forth, and opened the shining doors and bade them in. And all they went with her in their heedlessness. But I tarried behind, for I guessed that there was some treason. But then they vanished away, one and all. Nor did any of them appear again, though I sat a long time watching. So spake he, whereon I cast about my shoulder my silver-studded sword, a great blade of bronze, and slung my bow about me, and bade me lead me again by the way that he came. But he caught me with both hands, and by my knees he besought me, and bewailing him, spake to me winged words. Lead me not thither against my will, O fosterling of Zeus, but leave me here, for well I know that thou shalt return thyself no more, nor bring any one of all thy fellowship. Nay, let us flee the swifter of those that be here, for even yet we may escape the evil day. On this wise he spake, but I answered him, saying, Eurylochus, abide for thy part here in this place, eating and drinking by the black hollow ship, but I will go forth, for a strong constraint is laid on me. I don't know why I feel the need to go so hard on Odysseus in this book. I'm sure a lot of it is just the repetition of an epic poem, an ancient text, what have you. But Odysseus relaying what Eurylochus is telling him, almost word for word, what he was telling Alcinous had happened. Okay, let me try to articulate this a little bit better and not spend too much time on it. Odysseus lays the ground by saying what has transpired before he gives voice to Eurylochus. And so by quoting Eurylochus after he has already told the story, he is reinforcing the truth of his story, or his version of it, in a really kind of flimsy way with a witness who isn't here to verify that the thing that he said was word for word what Odysseus relayed to Alcinous. Does that make any sense? Like, it's the same thing as like making a claim and not having the evidence to back it up, but saying, well, you can trust it because I told you that, and then he said this thing, which was exactly what I said, and therefore, how could it be false? I mean, no one, except me, in the world is doubting Odysseus here, so all of this is irrelevant. What is actually happening? Eurylochus, obviously traumatized from watching his crew be turned into pigs, begs with Odysseus to not have to lead him back to Circe's palace. And surprise, surprise, Odysseus makes himself out to be the hero, saying that, well, you can have the privilege of staying behind, but I have an obligation to my men to go and find them. So let me put on my little bronze helmet and my bow and my sword, and you just wait right here, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna go handle this. Hold my beer. You know, it's like Odysseus is the one differentiating how he and somebody else acts in the face of danger. So it's not super convincing when Odysseus is saying, oh, all these, weaklings and cowards and men who can't keep their grief in their pants in the face of all this danger, it all befalls me to be the one to take care of it. And maybe that's true. Listen, I don't want to make you all start to roll your eyes at me giving my commentary on this. The book starts with Athena making a plea to Zeus on behalf of Odysseus. So, he's clearly favored by the gods. And as we all know, God has never been wrong. They've never contradicted themselves. They've never been a hypocrite. We can trust everything they do, everything they say. All right, I'm done, I promise. I guess to round out today's episode, I'm going to just share with you some flimsy research I did. We've heard the term winged words a lot. And, through context, I don't think there's any confusion over what it means, but it's used so often, I wondered if there was some sort of additional context or meaning to them, particularly in translating from the ancient Greek. And Basically what I found, there is a kind of interpretation of it. I mean, it is exactly what you think it is, but on the one hand, this being an oral poem, as we all know, winged words fit the kind of formula for filling out the meter of the lines of the poem. So that is why it's there, just like Dawn the Rosy-Fingered, etc. All the epithets that we hear. But audiences of the time, I believe, if this is to be understood and believed what I am reading here, that it hit them a little bit different because they imagined speech as like something that leaves the speaker, like a physical process of something leaving a speaker, traveling through the air, and then reaching the person hearing it. So it's literally words that take flight from one person to another. Nowadays, I think we would just say something like he replied, or he said, or she said, or they exclaimed, etc. And the last thing that I found kind of interesting about this kind of physical act of winged words, of it traveling through the air from one person to another, had this hard to kind of articulate, at least in English, this idea that thoughts can be controlled, actions can sometimes be undone or made up for, but words, once they leave your mouth, they can't be changed. They're out. They are moving from one person to another. And so that fits into the physical act of a word being winged. And like a bird being released, you can't recage it. Okay, that's all I have for today. Join me here tomorrow as we pass the halfway point of Book 10. So until then, okie dokie. See you later. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.